Supervisors, this is Brenda Underwood, the Breakthrough Strategist, coming to you live today to talk about our topic of win at work with creative problem solving. So I like to go by Coach BU, and I want to explain a little bit about the Coach BU, the Breakthrough Strategist. When I say Coach BU, I'm removing the focus from me to the focus is on you. When I do coaching, it's all about my client. It's all about the person who's listening. It's not about me. It's not about my credentials. It's not about my 30 years of work experience as a leader and leading staff. It is about how can I empower you to win and to win big in every area of life. You know, the enemy always dealt with me when it came to being a professional woman in the workplace. The enemy always made me think I could either have a family or I could have a great career. But when I really got entrenched in the Word of God, I learned that I can have both. The promises of God are not compartmentalized to one area of life. You can win at work, you can win in relationships, and you can win at life. And so when I say Coach BU, I am talking about how can I be there for you. It's not about me. It's about helping you elevate your life to the next level so that you can soar. So I am your breakthrough strategist. And today I'm going to talk to you about something that I learned early on in my career when I was 19 years old and I first started managing staff. And so this Facebook Live is about how you can do creative problem solving. And I am going to go through a step-by-step process that I utilized when I was in corporate for 30 years as a leader, as well as how I trained my staff so I could buy me time so I could work on what only I could do in the job. And so when you come to leadership, whether you're a manager, you're a supervisor, or you're a corporate head or a leader of your own business and you have staff, you're going to encounter problems. And sometimes, you know, I don't know about you, but there are times when I felt like I needed a crystal ball just so that I can figure out what the day was going to look like. And I want to kind of help you get a glimpse into some things that can help you anticipate problems and solve them potentially before they happen. And so when we begin to look at this, I want you to think about the problems that have just popped on your desk. Have you ever felt like you're the fire chief and you're just running here, running there, and running there, and you're putting out fires all the time? Let me talk to you a little bit about how you can be a better problem solver, add value to your team, be more valuable to your company, and add value to your customer base. Okay. I've said this for years as a consumer and as a person who's worked in sales for a long time and marketing for a long time. I have always said that you don't know the worth of a company until you have a problem that needs to be solved. And so problem solving is the purpose of us providing products and services. We solve some problem. We create some convenience. We are there to solve problems and make life better for our clients, for our staff, for our company. So one of the first steps that we're going to talk about today is the power of anticipation. I had a boss when I worked at Unisource Worldwide. His name was Mike McClure, and he really groomed me with leadership. And he told me one day, he said, the power of an effective leader is to be able to anticipate a problem before it manifests. And the better you get at that, the more valuable you will be in the workplace. And so one of the things that I have learned over the years is that if you really want to begin to anticipate problems in advance, you have to take time to reflect. You have to take time to take a survey of the lay of the land. You need to take time to do a pulse check with your staff. It doesn't have to be a long 1-hour coaching meeting or mentoring meeting or whatever you call it within your organization. It can be just a pulse check. See how they're doing. Genuinely be concerned at what's going on in their world, outside and inside of the workplace. This will help you anticipate problems. They may mention something to you that you didn't know what was going on the floor. My last job, I was a director of staff development with 100 operators, directors, staff members in a variety of different areas. And one of the things that I always learned from my staff was what was going on. If I would listen to my frontline staff people, if I would stay in touch with them, have my ear to the ground, then they will let me know about problems that are going on that I may never know about until it blows up. They may give me some insight that I wouldn't get just by going and getting a temperature of the environment in which I lead. Getting out of my office, walking the call center floor, and making sure that I had a pulse on what was going on. This is the power of anticipation. When you are engaging with the frontline people, then you get a chance to hear what you won't hear in a manager's meeting. I'm not saying spend all day there. I am saying keep a pulse of what's going on in your organization with your frontline people. They will reveal a lot more to you than you can ever anticipate. The next thing, so that's the power of anticipation. It helps you see what will be coming down the road. The other thing is effective insight. When you're looking at creative problem solving, you want to be able to look at a problem from multiple angles. If you anticipate there's a problem going on or the problem is already at your doorstep, you want to take a moment to have some effective insight. You want to get the view of it from a number of different perspectives, because we, as much as we are the same, we are different, y'all. And so take some time to hear somebody else's point of view that doesn't think how you think, because they may help you solve a problem in a creative and unique way that you would never think of doing. In this, you want to invite your staff, your direct reports, and your downline staff. You want to open up the door for them to communicate with you without penalty. You know, oftentimes leaders, if you don't agree, and I've been guilty of this, if you don't agree with me, then I don't want to hear it. But sometimes we need to hear different perspectives so that we can create positive outcomes. Get a purview of the situation from the other side of the table. Stephen Covey likes to call it seek to understand before you are understood. It's habit number 5 from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Phenomenal book. But when you begin to look at things from another person's perspective, doesn't mean you agree, but it means that you're taking the time to listen, to see it from their perspective, so that you can then create some positive outcomes that everyone can win in. You want to create an opportunity for you to sit down and look at it from their viewpoint. I like what Dale Carnegie says in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. He calls it WIIFM. What's in it for me? WIIFM. And when you take some time to see what's in it for the other person, then you have an opportunity to create win-win scenarios. I like to call it positive outcomes. Positive outcomes where everyone gets their piece of the pie, where everyone's vested interest is heard and met as much as possible. Sometimes there's going to be some compromising. I don't believe in win-lose situations. I believe if we approach things caring, if we're caring, we're compassionate, and we have a heart for people that we lead, then we're going to approach situations looking for positive outcomes for everyone involved. So when you go through the effective insight, you get to see it from their side of the table. Then you can come up with positive outcomes that will meet everyone's need and propel your company or your organization forward. The other plus to this is when people feel heard, they feel vested. When people feel like you care, they become loyal. You can force compliancy. You cannot force loyalty. And the difference between compliancy and loyalty, compliancy says I'm going to do exactly what you told me to do, nothing more, even though I know that it could be better if I did this. Compliancy that is forced is only going to give you exactly what you asked for. And as a leader, you want to hire people you trust so that you have loyalty, so that they will go the extra mile for you, that they will go through the wall for you, that they will anticipate problems before they happen and let you know what's going on so that you can be an effective leader. Because the more effective you are at solving problems, the greater value you bring to the table. Then, number 4, last but not least, M.E.R.T solutions. What does that mean? M.E.R.T, M.E.R.T solutions, to bring about the positive outcome. So when you begin to look at, you've taken time to anticipate a problem that may be coming up, you've gotten some insight, effective insight from the team members and the people involved, and sometimes from people not involved, so that you can get a fresh look at something. Then you come up with some positive outcomes. And once you decide on what the positive outcome is, then you can M.E.R.T the solution. And M.E.R.T the solution is very simple. Again, Mike McClure at Unisource Worldwide taught me this when I was 19 years old. Now I'm looking 50 in the face. So that can tell you how many years ago this was. But I used it throughout my entire career. And to M.E.R.T a solution is to make a plan. That's the M. Make a plan. Execute the plan. Revisit the plan. Oftentimes we stop between the E and the R. We don't revisit the plan. We assume that we planned it out perfectly and nothing's going to go wrong. But how many times is that true? There's a guy called Murphy, and he likes to go in and throw monkey wrenches into plans. So you want to revisit your plan, and then you want to tweak your plan. I don't know anyone who had a vision for their business or their department or their organization that put together a plan that never needed to be tweaked. In a day when technology is moving like this, that you literally, as Les Brown says, you literally have to run just to stand still. You need to continuously be tweaking your plan. Now, hear me. I want you to hear me. I am not saying that you need to ditch the goal. You don't ditch the goal. You just may change how you reach it. It's just like if you're planning to go to Chicago from Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where I'm located, in Atlanta, Georgia. If you're planning to go to Chicago, there may be some road work that you didn't know about. There may be an accident that you didn't know about that shuts down a freeway or an interstate. Doesn't mean you're not going to Chicago, just means that you may have to take a longer route to get there. May mean you have to take the back roads a little ways to get there, but it doesn't change the destination. So when you look at revisiting your plan and tweaking it, it doesn't mean you change the goal. You simply change the approach. And I believe if you will utilize these 4 steps, you will be a creative problem solver. So let me recap for you. Step number 1, and I'm going to type this in. Step number 1, oh, it's already in the description. I forgot. I did that ahead of time. That's what being prepared looks like. Step number 1 is anticipate, the power of anticipation. Take time to reflect in your job. For some leaders, this may be 7:30 in the morning before anybody comes in the office at 8. So you take some time, have your coffee, have your tea, reflect, think about, pray about it. If I serve Christian leaders. And so if you're a Christian leader, you want to bring God into your job. You want to ask him for strategies. You want to reflect on what he knows, because he knows what you don't know. That's the power of anticipation, effective insight. Get collaboration from the team, especially your frontline people. They are more valuable to you than any other layer in the organization because they're dealing with your clients frontline. Positive outcomes. Don't spend a whole lot of time on anticipating the problem and effective insight. You want to spend about 20% of your time actually looking at the problem, what the problem is, looking at it from different viewpoints. That's about 20% of your time. 80% of your time is in what are the positive outcomes that will create win-win scenarios, and how do I M.E.R.T the solution? So you want to spend 80% of your time on the solution and only 20% of your time looking at the different angles of the problem. And the final step is M.E.R.T the solution. Make the plan, execute the plan, revisit the plan, and tweak the plan. This is going to help you add value to your day, to your team, to your company, and to your clients. The funny thing about the word M.E.R.T, when I looked it up, making acronyms isn't a strong point I had. I learned how to do this from a colleague I worked with, Mark Atkins, when I worked with him at Georgia Calls, and he was great at coming up with acronyms. So I just kind of observed and looked. So, I'm new to this, but the word M.E.R.T in Turkish, the word M.E.R.T in Turkish means brave. Let me tell you guys something. As leaders, you need that courage. You need to believe that you have the solutions within you, because guess what you also have in you? If you believe in Jesus, then you also have the Holy Spirit on the inside of you. And he is all knowing, and he can direct your path towards solutions that you could never come up with on your own. So you want to rely on him and be brave and courageous as you lead your team and lead your staff and lead your organization to monumental success. And so I like to call this coach leading. As a coach leader, you want to train your staff to do this. This is something that will buy you time. You do the 4 steps. But as problems are brought to your desk, brought to your office, is it just me? Was I the only leader for 30 years in corporate that was constantly being bombarded with problems being brought from your staff? When they bring a problem to you, train them in how to go through these 4 steps, as well as train them your thought process. Train them to come to you with every problem with 2 solutions. 2 ways that you could solve the problem. Now, you may take their 2 solutions, you may not. As I used to tell my team when I was a leader, now I'm a leader of my own company, but when I was in corporate, I would tell my team, look, sometimes you're going to shoot an idea up and it's going to soar like an eagle. Sometimes you're going to send an idea up and we're going to clip the wings a little bit. And sometimes you're going to send an idea up and we're going to take a double-barrel shotgun and shoot that eagle out the sky. Why? Because the idea didn't work. But I'm not going to just shoot your eagle out the sky or just take your idea and crush it. Because remember, you want to build loyalty and trust in your team, because they'll go through the wall for you when they believe you care about them. What you want to do when they bring you a problem and you've trained them to bring you 2 solutions for every problem, 2 solutions, then you can take them and say, okay, I like this solution, but let's talk through it. It doesn't have to be an hour conversation. It can be 10, 15 minutes where you talk through, okay, let's look at these scenarios and ask questions instead of tell. That's a coach leader. A coach leader is going to ask questions instead of telling you what to do. Because see, when you ask questions, you open up creativity and dialogue. When you tell, you shut it down. So you want your staff to begin to make decisions like you would make decisions. That means you have to teach them how to think the way you want it framed within your organization. So you're going to take their solutions and you want to go through it with them, the thought process in your mind. Ask them some questions. Now, tonight I'm doing a Facebook Live at 9 o'clock, and that is a focus on my certification program, but I'm going to talk about the power of pivotal questions that open up dialogue. I'm going to share in that live at 9 o'clock tonight. I am going to share 2 words in a question you never want to use if you're trying to open up dialogue. Okay. And that is going to be real powerful. But when we talk about being a coach leader in the corporate arena, this is going to help you buy back time when you train your staff how to go through the thought process of making decisions. It also will speed up processes. You don't want to be the bottleneck in everything that you do in your organization, where people are waiting on you to make a decision in order to move forward. You want that organization, your team, you want your team to run smoothly and swiftly with you there and when you're not there. Okay, this is only for the secure leader. This is only for the confident leader, because an insecure leader wants to be the bottleneck, wants everybody to need them because their value is attached to that. Sorry, that's my reminder to go get my 250 steps in before 4 o'clock. But what I want you guys to really, really take time and think about is how much time would you buy back in your day if you trained your supervisors or your managers to make decisions the way you would make decisions. This is a game changer, especially for the workaholic. Hi, my name is Brenda Underwood, and I am a recovering workaholic. Yes, I work 70 hours a week in pretty much every job I had until the last one. Then I got a clue that I could have a life and I could have work and it could all come together and I could do it with balance. So being a coach leader means that you're going to ask questions to help your staff actually go through a thought process to help them come up with good solutions that will benefit the organization. The benefit to that is it buys you time. So again, I'm going to pose to you this question, leaders and managers and supervisors, people who are running staff in organizations. How much time would you buy back if 50% of the interruptions you had went away? How much time would you then have to do what only you can do as the CIO, as the CTO, as the CSO? How much time? Take the time to train your staff to find the solutions, to solve the problems creatively so that you can work on what only you can work on. And when you buy yourself time back at work, you buy yourself peace of mind and time at home. And so I want to leave you with this. One of the programs that I offer is called the Balancer. And the Balancer program that I offer is designed for high achieving corporate leaders that are workaholics, like I used to be. And I started utilizing these techniques and tools to create balance in my life as a single mom. My son's father's deceased. I have yet to marry. My son is now 23, but I raised him from the time he was 2 months old to 23. He'll be 23 in a couple of months by myself. I live in a state where I don't have a lot of family when I initially moved here, and I work 70 hours a week. And so I began to use some of these techniques that I've developed for this Balancer program to create balance so I can be there for my son and be there at his games and still be that boss at work that is getting things done. One of the personal missions that were assigned to me, or our personal mission statements, was Brenda is a person who keeps it simple and gets it done. And so in order to do that, I had to be creative at problem solving, because organizations hire me to come in and make and implement systems, implement vision, implement ideas, and then make sure I have the systems in place for it to run like a Swiss watch when I'm not there. Because one of the bad things about me as an employee, I get bored when I'm not creating. So I would only stay on a job for 2 or 3 years, except for my last job, I stayed there for 7. And Toshiba, I did stay there for about 4 or 5. I left and came back. But anyhow, my whole point to you in taking the time to do this is going to buy you time. And in the Balancer program, for the high achiever, I really want you to have that balance in life where when you take a vacation, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. But when you're at work, you are laser focused and you are spot on, and you are doing what only you can do in your organization. And if you're interested in creating some work-life balance, if you're interested in sharpening your leadership skills, if you are interested in being present for your marriage, your relationships, your kids, your friends, and your family, then reach out to me. Schedule a free discovery call at 855-923-LIFE. That's 855-923-5433. Schedule calls. I'll chat with you. Or you can go directly to my website and schedule a free discovery call there. Check your calendar against my schedule and schedule your appointment. It is a no-charge appointment, and you will walk away with crystal clear clarity. Because one of the things I pride myself on is one-on-one coaching that is customized for you. I don't believe in that cookie cutter, do it the way everybody else does it. God made you diverse. God made you uniquely different from everyone else. I like to say that as much as we are the same, we are different. And we have different ideas, and God's placed different dreams and different skills in each and every one of us. So I am a coach to help you amplify that uniqueness that God placed in you. So I hope to hear from you soon. This is Brenda Underwood, the Breakthrough Strategist, signing off. Peace and love. Bye-bye.